Good evening and welcome to episode 32 of Star Wars Culture Live, a fairly new podcast focusing on Star Wars excitement and connection, your escape pod for hyperspace buzz and fandom fixes. As always, I am Ian, and this is Marty, and this is where the fun begins. Instead of the negativity you often find on the Star Wars side of the internet, we want to talk about the things we love about Star Wars, how it enriches our lives, the community, culture, fans, media, anything at all. So as always, if you have anything for us, reactions, questions, requests, discussions, suggestions for future segments, anything at all, throw them in the comments and we will see what we can do. Don't forget to check us out on all the socials at SW Culture Live. On Facebook, we are here at Culture Slate or Episode 9 News. Today's show, as the title implies, is going to be all about the finale arc of Andor Season 2. So just a fair warning. Yeah, a lot of today's podcast is going to be talking about the last 3 episodes of Andor that just came out last night. So if you have not seen them, pause this video, go watch them because they're amazing. And then, spoiler alert, they're amazing. And then come back and listen to us and hang out with us while we talk about them. But before we get to that, we are going to move into our host facts to let you get to know a little bit more about us every single episode. So without further ado, host fact, Marty, fun fact, what you got?
Okay, so I mentioned it last week and I finally did it, I think the day after or so, but I have not one but 2 Yoda impression TikTok videos posted on TikTok right now. One of them is him when he's leaving Kashyyyk, saying goodbye to Tarful and Chewbacca, and the other one is him talking with Mace and Obi-Wan in the gunship about the Anakin being the chosen one.
Nice. Go check those out at Marty21794 on TikTok for some Yoda impressions. Have you done the around? Have you done my favorite Yoda quote, "Around the survivors, a perimeter create"? You have done that?
I did. That was okay. That was like my 5th one.
All right, good. I figured it would probably be high up there. All right, good. I'm gonna go repost that. My fun fact, I have 2 small fun facts. The first one is that I have a sore throat because there was a lot of singing at work today, and I am just blasted from that. So hopefully, dear God, this will be a shorter episode, not a full hour of talking. Not that Andor finales are not worth it, but I will just be a dead person. And then the other fun fact, the more fun fact, is that I got a new hat. I'm going with the vintage Star Wars look. I love my other orange hat, but I'm using it for every video and every podcast, and I'm packing it and traveling with it and stuff. And I'm just worried about. I've had it since like 2011, and I'm worried that I'm gonna just destroy it. So I didn't want to do that. So I got another Star Wars hat. It's nice and it's vintage. It's got space on the brim. I don't know. There you go. You can see that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's got stars on the brim. I love the font is like vintage, like some of the old posters I have up here. I'm a huge fan, so I'm gonna mix this in to the look sometimes. Not a huge week for fun facts for me, but so let's move on to HoloNet news. Luckily for me and my throat, not a lot of news this week other than the season finale arc of Mandor coming out. Did I say Mandor?
You said Mandor.
I said Mandor. I think Mandalorian and Andor got Mandalorian. Huh, man. Yeah.
That'd be
I'm gonna blame it on my
show.
throat. My throat hurts, so it's distracting me. That would be an interesting show. I would like Din Djarin and Andor to meet. I think they would not get along, but like they'd like nod at each other from across the room as they completed their individual missions.
Right.
But the only thing I really wanted to talk about for the news segment was Petrie Alistair, who played Draven in General, what's his name? General Davitz Draven in Andor and Rogue One. Tell this kid as he watched A New Hope in the cinema in Salisbury in 1978. It was the first film he ever saw on the big screen, that I'd stand in front of an X-Wing on Yavin 4 as part of the Star Wars Pantheon. Andor at the helm of Tony Gilroy is some of the finest work to have ever been involved in. Even if Star Wars is not your thing, this story as we ride towards Rogue One tells us so much about who we are and the world we live in. Diego Luna, I salute you. Always have hope. I just thought it was very, very cool. I love seeing actors with their personal Star Wars stories, like actors in Star Wars who were Star Wars fans before, like Katie Sackhoff in The Mandalorian, who plays how am I blanking on her name right now?
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. Holy hell, I'm so tired. Yeah, that actress showed her. She brought her dad to the set of The Mandalorian. I think it was the bridge of that ship that Luke ends up coming to save them all from the battle droids. But they, her dad was like a huge Star Wars fan. Saw them in theaters when she was like before she was born or when she was a small child. And she brought him, and it was like mind blowing for him. It's just the coolest thing. I love stories like that, where Star Wars actors were Star Wars fans. So also, I'm going to pull him back up. My next Star Wars costume is going to be a much cheaper one, but I'm going to try and do like a rebel officer type deal where it's just clothes and jackets and not a whole freaking armor set that costs multiple thousands of dollars. I also want one for in the summer, so that if it's Rebel Legion and 501st at the same event, then I can go as a rebel officer and not just sweat endlessly in the summer heat. I'll have a winter costume and a summer costume.
It also seems like the Rebel Legion, you don't have to have like a strict like uniform to go by like the 501st does, because I've seen like the stuff that you got to go through to be considered part of it to pass inspection. It just seems like Rebel Legion's like you just throw on a 1970s vintage Vietnam era jacket, put a little thing on your chest, and say, "I'm a rebel."
No, I can see why it seems like that, because when you look at Yavin, all the rebels are like it looks like all their costumes are just thrown together. Like, what tan and gray stuff did you have? But they do have pretty strict CRLs depending on what or costume reference library rules depending on what you're going. Like, I have to find, like, if I was doing him, I would have to find this exact type of jacket with like the seams in the right place and the right type of collar.
Okay.
Or there's a different rebel officer, like you have to have the right type of jacket with the right type of like collar, and there's shirts that annoyingly don't look like normal shirts, like they have this extra material sewn in the front. So it's its own level of challenging. So it's not, I too wondered if it would be easier, and I looked up the things. It's like, all right, no, this will also take some work. Not Din Djarin level of work, but that's just because that character's insane. Anyway, so that was our HoloNet news. I forgot to click the ticker, but we have probably the most important on this day in Star Wars history that we have ever had on this show. So, Marty, please take it away. It's the most epic.
All right. So, we wouldn't be here today without this one in particular. Like, I mean, we would be born, but we wouldn't be doing this show if it wasn't for this. We would exist,
but we would not be. Yeah, we would not be here on this podcast together.
But on this day in 1944, I haven't looked at it in a while, but I'm gonna post it right now. There you go. Yep, I was right. 1944. George Lucas, the maker himself, was born in Modesto, California.
So pretty epic. Can't really think of any more important announcement for on this day, any more important event in the life of Star Wars. Yeah. So thank you, George Lucas, for being born and creating all this stuff for us to be nerds about. I appreciate it, as I'm sure
Seriously.
does Marty. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's a pretty epic one, and we're gonna move on here to my much stupider, sillier segment, dad joke of the week, which is, why did Darth Vader decide to build his fortress on Mustafar? Because it was just so lovable. It's very, very lovable. There's lots of lava there. I'm so sorry. All right, let's get to the meat of the episode.
Okay.
10 minutes, not bad for all the intro and news. All right, so just for safety, I'm gonna go ahead and do a spoiler alert. We are now about to talk about the last 3 episodes of Andor. So if you have not seen them, go watch them. They're amazing. And then come back and listen to the rest of this podcast, because it's going to be about them and about me bawling my eyes out and several other things that may or may not have happened. As you can see, Marty threw together this. Nope, that's not what I meant. Where did he threw together this new background for us, or he uploaded the Yavin base, and yeah. Oh my God, where do you want to start with this?
Let's start with. Oh man, I don't know, because this is there's just so much. It hurts.
Let's
really
start with.
does.
I just want to start with the just sadness that it's over. That like okay, we did 2 spoiler alerts. It's fine. I had forgotten the name of the place that Rogue One starts on, or that we first see Andor in Rogue One. So like Kafrene, the Ring of Kafrene, where he meets that guy Tivik, and I forgot the name of that guy. I forgot the name of the Ring of Kafrene. So I was watching the last episode, the finale episode, thinking like, oh, okay, this big like action-packed finale is going to take place like that on the at this place, whatever, Kafrene, with this Tivik guy, and that's going to be like this big action-packed finale. And it's like, no, that's Rogue One is the big action-packed finale. And so I was just waiting for things that were not going to happen if I had remembered the names of that place and that person. Yeah, the big finale was just setting up, lining up all of the chess pieces in the right place for Rogue One to begin. That was that finale, plus that last shot in the field that I was not freaking ready for. Oh, okay. Here's where we'll start. Sorry. Yeah, I got one. I did not have Dedra confronting Luthen like right away in episode 10 on my bingo card. Like that whole situation, like, and what's it called? Donnie Young,
Lonnie.
Lonnie. Yeah, him. I mean, I knew as soon as he started talking about the Death Star, I was like, he's gonna shoot you, dude. Like, get yourself and your family off the planet first. Be like, you need to get me out right now, and then I'll tell you. Because he gave in, and then I just knew they were gonna find him. And then but that whole thing escalated, like him, like Luthen getting, like Luthen laying on the ground, getting like stabbing himself, like all that stuff. Just Luthen out of the picture happened way faster in this episode arc than I expected. I thought he was going to be right up there, up into the finale of it.
I did too. I really thought, like, is this how we're gonna go already? Like, a character such as Luthen, I felt like deserved a little bit more than how he went. But
It feels like everyone does their part in the story and then is just immediately eliminated.
yeah, I mean, I feel like in a way, it's not like every other movie. It feels like it kind of hits on real life because sometimes it's not like this big grandiose death. You just random by chance, like Cyril last week, just randomly shot by that old guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the old guy had a reason, but that was just so random. And you expect a character like him to have such a bigger death, and you'd expect someone such as a Luthen to go out guns ablazing like he did last season in his ship. I thought he would have gone out something like that.
Yeah. The Speaking of which, I thought how I the Empire was just so dumb. The Imperials were just so dumb during Clea's heist of the like her in the hospital. Like that was the most obvious diversion ever. You have a high value asset that you're guarding, and then some big explosion happens like elsewhere, and you send like almost all of your forces to look at that. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Come on. Who's in charge? Was it like Hirt? Was he the one over there?
yeah. It was Hirt who took over after arresting Dedra, but then he
Right.
blames Dedra and her crew for it. So
Right. And it was like, I guess that was part of it too. It was like kind of a shift changeover because it was Dedra's people, or Dedra's in command, and Hirt was like kind of taking over, but I guess hadn't fully got his feet set yet. Also, that was the funniest set of lines in the entire season, where she's like, everything is under control, and he's like, that's a bold statement.
yeah,
With like just a half a second to spare, he was just like that, like totally expecting her to say something like that.
yeah.
That I cackled both times I heard that. It was like once in the episode and then once in the recap.
I chuckled at that. The other part I chuckled at is where Cleo was in the elevator with the old lady, just quiet. All of a sudden, the old woman is like, "Huh?"
Huh?
And then just a little later, not even a split second, it just took Cleo a second. She's like, "What?" And then just silence the rest of the way up.
My brother sent me a screenshot of apparently there was a let me look at it. Yeah, apparently it was a screenshot of like, I don't know if you do this, but I always now am watching things with subtitles on, just because I don't know what other noise might be coming out of other people in my house. But it says, the subtitle says granny scatting. It's just a shot of like waiting for things to happen, and she's just sitting in the chair, and it says granny scatting.
Yeah,
so funny.
I thought it was funny too. She's just there.
Yeah, she's minding her own business. Accidentally a hero of the rebellion. Speaking of my brother, he was pointing out there's a theme in Andor and Rogue One of people being destroyed by their own creations. So if you think about it, he says Lonnie, I guess kind of by his actions, like what he did, but Luthen did kind of force him in there. Hirt, by his own actions, what he was doing. Partagaz for sure. Dedra, obviously. How about the poetic justice of her ending up on Narkina 5? That is just,
it's like, what?
it's beautiful. They're also, I didn't see any women there. Is there just like a different facility with all women? I didn't see any female characters in Narkina 5 and Andor. Did you?
I think Narkina 5, I mean, that's just the name of the the moon or planet, whatever they're on.
Yeah.
I think there's like
So maybe there's
multiple
just
facilities on that.
yeah. Okay. Luthen. I mean, yeah, but I feel like he kind of knew that was gonna happen eventually.
Yeah.
Serial.
I did like. Oh yeah.
What's up? Sorry.
I did like the parallels of the whole episode 10 of it. Like, the current events is like basically Clea's and Luthen's last moments together, while the flashbacks were their first moments, together. First and last moments.
Yeah.
I was like, this is very nice. I'm still trying to figure out what planet the flashback was on. I mean, I know part of it later on was they're on Naboo, but before that,
Yeah,
where he found
it did look
her.
like Naboo, right? I thought it was Naboo with the bridge.
Yeah, the bridge was definitely Naboo. I recognized
Okay.
the architecture.
It looked like
And
feed.
clothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But
That's what I thought.
the planet before that, they had mud jumpers. So I'm like, are they on Mimban again? Or some other place?
The
Like not mud jumpers, but the mud troopers, basically.
yeah. Clea, just because my wife brought this up, Clea is not Andor's sister, right? Like they showed Andor's sister on Kenari back in the end, and she was like, "Is that like it wasn't the same young actress, right?" Just wanted
It looks
to.
like it looked
I
like
was
a
just
different
weirded.
actress, but at the same time, though, I mean, there could have been like a time gap between Cassian leaving his sister, because that was still like part of the Republic era. And then when
Right.
Luthen's there, it's the Empire, so time had passed.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know. I wanna feel like that's meant to be left as a mystery.
Okay. I didn't. Yeah. I just didn't understand exactly why they were showing Cassian's sister right at the end there. Like, it was just this tiny little flashback scene to her like running through the woods. And I was like, that wasn't. I didn't study either of their faces carefully enough to be like, that's not the same actress, right?
Yeah, no, I think the sister one's a little younger, because that's how he remembers her.
Okay. All right. What else we got? We covered Dedra. Didn't really see Partagaz taking himself out like that. I didn't see that coming until I saw the blaster. I thought he was. I don't know, but the other guy obviously knew it was coming. He was just like, wait, like, I guess that's the way you want to go. If you lose your position in the Empire, that's how you want to do it. You don't want to end up like Dedra or worse.
Yeah, I felt something was coming when he was listening to Nemec's recording.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Imagine how happy Nemec would be knowing that like a high-ranking Imperial official that has been working on this secret Death Star project. Imagine how happy he would be to know that that high-ranking Imperial officer was listening to his manifesto right before, like in the midst of his failure, right before he ended himself. Like imagine how happy Nemec would be about that. Maybe not the ending itself, but in the midst of his own failure, like Nemec would be so happy.
Yeah, he's like, I got through to somebody.
Yep. And it's working, and they're failing, and there's the spark of rebellion. Speaking of which, the Death Star being the secret energy thing that like only part of the ISB was in on, like secrets within secrets in secret organizations. Definitely didn't see the Dedra's like accidental acquisition of that information coming either. Like, she was, because they started questioning, and was it when Krennic was questioning her? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, why is she like, why is she in the hot? Like, I know she's in the hot seat because of how she just recently messed up, but how is she in the hot seat for this stuff? And then she was like, yeah, a packet of highly classified information was accidentally forwarded to my office. I should have reported that. And I was like, oh, now you're screwed.
I feel like she, quote
You
unquote,
knew what you did.
accidentally look. She knew what she was doing. I feel like she was doing it as part of what Cyril had basically said. She's like, he got her thinking, like, why are we here? Gorman, what's the point of this?
And she knew like that it was part of the bigger thing, and that was the secret or whatever, where Partagaz was like, he can't know why we're really here. And she was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, what is that? And so that's what it was. She knew about the Death Star. That's crazy. All right. How about, let's talk about, we haven't talked about, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was I mean, I still can't believe through thick and thin, and she was still trying to help the Empire no matter what. Even, she's like, in jail, basically, she's still going to help them, even though they're the ones that put her away.
Yeah, she gave that guy advice, and it worked. Like, that was, I guess, kind of self-serving, because maybe the sentence would be lessened if she could help her case a little bit. Like, at least prove that she wasn't.
Like, yeah. So the way he made it sound was like, yeah, I could get you kind of out of here, basically. You're gonna be good. Nope.
Yeah.
Throw her into the deepest, darkest prison ever.
Yep. Well, I mean, what did you expect? She, like, it was very interesting examining my own feelings about Dedra this whole time, because, like, in the corporate sense, like, I was rooting for her. Like, she's a fighter, she's fierce, she's obviously, like, one of the only women in that position. Like, the dedication and the strength and the hard work that she's put in, like, you can't help but root for her a little. But then, like, before you get too far down that emotional path, she's also like, oh, and genocide. And you're like, oh, that's right. You're like an awful human being. You're just a terrible person. And so that's why it was much easier in this, I think, in this season and this arc to remember, like, oh, yeah, you're down with just, like, total domination and autocracy, or tyranny, empireness. You're totally down with that.
I was hoping she'd defect, though, at the last minute. Like,
yeah, no, I think I had that thought flit into my head sometimes, but then I was like, this is her entire personality. Like, her love of Cyril, if that's what it is, like, her, whatever it is with Cyril, which it could have been all fake just to get him to do what they wanted, by the way. But it that made barely a dent in her just complete dedication to the Imperial cause, their maniacal, fanatical ideals.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the rebels on Yavin, like that council that it was nice to see, like, basically the same council that we see in Rogue One, like, talking about stuff, just without all their people there.
I wasn't expecting Bale to be that big a jerk, in my opinion. Like, I felt like he was kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't expecting. I was like, dude, really? I'd expect it from what's his face right next to you, but not you. The top, like, the cast.
It didn't. It was surprising to feel him, like, in the way of the story, Like I always thought of Bale as like, oh, he's smart, he's helpful, he gets it. But here he was just like an obstacle that like the people had to deal with, that Andor and Mon. And that was so funny when she pulled rank, when he was like, permission to go to the infirmary. She was like, granted, granted.
Yeah. Bale's on. It was just like, what?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was the right move. Like he clearly was showing, like, it was a gesture. He was like at parade rest. His hands were behind his back. He was very respectful. He was like clearly deferring to their rules when he was asking. He was like, permission to see the friend. It was like, it was a good gesture, and it was right for them to reward it. Like, what's he going to do in the infirmary? He just wants to visit his friend.
Yeah, I do like Drevin was like trying to help Cash, like keep his mouth shut, but at the same time, it's like I mean, I do also want to check this out, but man, we got to follow the chain of command here, buddy.
Yeah, like it's moving from this shadow cloak and dagger spy thing to like an actual military organization, which is what you need to go against things like this, to form the empire. So, or to fight against, to form something that has a chance of fighting the empire. So you need to adapt. And I understand that you're from a different way of doing things, and you were brought into this cause a different way, but come on, we gotta come together here. What was I gonna say? It's gone forever.
I do like learning a little bit more of K2's and Cass's relationship. Like they're still like how they were in Rogue One. They're just feeding off each other, just being basically jerks to each other.
Yeah, they're
good buds.
I don't get. He's so mean to K2SI. He's just bullying him. And he and Melshi, when they were playing that sweet dominoes looking game, by the way, can't wait to see who comes out with that.
It's called,
what's it called? Did you look it
up? I did. I had to look it up because I was like, this is an interesting game. It is called Rianza. It's a combination of mahjong and dominoes.
Okay. All right. I wonder if that'll be on the Sabak app eventually.
Maybe. There's also, because the game came from basically the design department, and the head of the department or someone in the department actually made the game with all the sets of rules. So
it's out there already.
So I'm sure someone could find the rules, create the game themselves, or maybe down the road, like Sabak. Well, there'll be little chips of the pools.
I fully expect that you'll see the props in at one of those Etsy shops pretty soon. As soon as they can,
because they did the Kessel's, one of the Sabak games, Corellian Sabak. They did.
Yep.
For the solo game, they have the cards.
Yep, I have that set. They had them. They sell those at Disney. The Corellian Spike version. I just speaking of that app, they just came out with traditional Sabak on that app with the or what's it, classic Sabak, traditional Sabak with like the square colorful cards, and you're aiming for 23 or negative 23. It's funny looking, but it's fun. It's way simpler than the other versions, in my opinion. There's just one card at a time you have to deal with, like Uno. You either take the one you see or draw. Oh no, you don't even see one. There's not even a discard one. It's just you either keep what you have or you draw a card and replace one. It's pretty fun. Pretty easy thinking. Okay, we covered Andor and Yavin and all that. K2SO. Oh, I saw on Star Wars Underworld post, they do you remember how Cyril walked past all of those K droids, those KX droids, one of them like kept looking at him. It was confirmed that is eventually K2SO. Like all the other droids turned away, and then that droid was still like looking at him for some reason. But it was confirmed that was K2SO because of the battle scars, like the markings on his face and chest and stuff. So that was a cute little thing. All right, would we do
instead of Jasper from Twilight, battle scars.
Battle scars. Oh my god! You know what? I am gonna say this online for the record. I did not hate the Twilight movies. I know they're stupid. It's not. I'm not saying it. They're like wonderful cinema or anything. I'm not saying they're like they should be critically acclaimed. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that I did not dislike them. You like the vampires playing baseball scene is really fun to watch, and the action scenes are not bad for what time they came out. For the time, there were vampires versus werewolves, and they were super powered and they were fast and strong, and it was dangerous, and you didn't know. I did not hate them. That's not. I don't. You can whatever make fun of me.
I got
gonna say this.
My wife and I got to meet half the Cullen family at Comic Cons, and we enjoyed.
That's pretty cool.
Enjoyed talking to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, was he in there? Did you get to meet him?
No, he's not. He's not one of those guys that does Comic Cons. No, we got.
Yeah, I've never seen his name on this.
Who did we get? We got Emmett, we got Alice, we got Jasper, and then we got Carlisle.
Ah, nice. Cool. Yeah, the random tangent there, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, we started watching Firefly the other day. Another tangent. We're showing the kids. Anyway, all right, we talked about Yavin. We talked about the Empire and the ISB, how they ended up.
Apparently, I was just thinking this. I didn't realize that K2SO still had some of his memory intact before, becoming who he is now. Like, because he remembered marching in a parade on Coruscant in front of the Emperor with all these other KX series droids.
Yeah. So it's like they reprogrammed his motivations or intent, personality,
maybe.
But all the memories of what he did was still there.
That's interesting. They didn't do anything else because he's still throwing people across.
Yeah. That was funny. I remember seeing that. I forgot about that clip. I remember seeing it in the trailers, and then I totally forgot about it. And then he was like, the lines before. That was the second funniest. Are you with us? No. Like, oh, man. Yeah, that's good stuff. I'm going to be honest. I did not expect Clea to make it out of Coruscant alive. It felt like I was texting with my brother about this too. It felt like you remember when they have the Death Star plans and they're like passing it from person to person and it's like barely getting out of there. It's like the information about the Death Star was barely passing from person to person before each person like died for it. Like Lonnie had that information. He passed it to Luthen and then died. Luthen had that information, taught it to Clea, then he, did that stuff, died. And then Clea was going to give it to Andor. And I was really sure that Clea was going to die on Coruscant. And
I feel like, though, when Andor's getting to the council of the Rebel Alliance, it almost felt like that phone game where it's like you learn the first person that starts it out, and by the time it gets to you, it's something completely different. I thought he was like missing some key details. It's like,
yes, so was Clea when she was telling it to him, because, and I can't blame her for this, because like you could see from her this was excellent directing. You could see from her, she has always been completely in control. Her hair is pristine, straight, like exactly like her appearance is always so like just well groomed and professional looking. And this is the first time you see her like her hair is frazzled. She has been just waiting to see if she will be rescued. This whole time she's been going nuts by herself in this apartment, like and by the time she's relaying all this information to Cassian, like it's just been bouncing around her head this whole time, and she's not like this calm, like pragmatic, controlled source of information that she normally is. And so that was frustrating to see, but like who, you can't blame her for that. Like she was just suffering in, like, she just lost basically her father, and she was grieving and in this trauma by herself, going through it by herself, probably, I assume, depressed, super anxious, and then all of a sudden she has to give all this important information that she wasn't even there for. She just memorized words, and then tells it to Cassian, and then she gets knocked unconscious, and he has to try and think of what he remembers and try and convince all these people.
Is it kind of funny though? It's like Cass tries to do this, and the council's like, "We'll sit on this," but then later on, you go to Rogue One. Jin's like, "Dead Star, I heard this from this person. Gave me this recording of my dad," and then everyone's just like, "Where's the proof? Where?"
Yep.
It's like, so you'll have the information that Cash got from Clea, who got from Luthen, who got from Lonnie, but you won't believe Jyn Erso, the daughter of Galen.
So, well, here's what I wonder. This is why I need to go back and watch it. I don't know that Galen Erso's name made it from Luthen all the way through Clea, through Andor, to the ears of the Rebel Council. I am not sure that Galen Erso's name made it all the way there. If it had, if Andor was like, Galen Erso is the one in charge of it, and then Jyn Erso comes in, is like, my dad sent me this message. My dad, Galen Erso, sent me this message. Then they'd be like, okay, this is the second time we're hearing about Galen Erso. Maybe there's some truth to this. And maybe they would have supported her a little quicker. But I think in all the franticness, there's no way that's a word. But I think Galen Erso, I think they remembered Gorman and Jeddah, but I don't think Andor remembered Galen Erso's name to say to the Rebel Council.
Probably because it made sense later on.
What'd you say?
So because it made sense later on in Rogue One, where they're like, Galen Erso, okay, take him out. Like, just like, okay.
Yeah, and this is just him being in charge of the project, not like him like defecting or sending a pilot defector. Also, I thought, I was really worried that Clea, like, she didn't, after she got hit with that grenade in Coruscant, whatever it was, the stunner grenade. After she got hit with that, like, she hit her head really hard on the wall. She was like bleeding. And for a while, the next few scenes, she had a very confused expression on, almost like it was probably just grief or anger or suffering, but it also looked like it could be confusion. And I was wondering if they were going to do this thing where she got like her memories knocked out or something, like she didn't know who or where she was, or something, like where she got some sort of traumatic brain injury or something, and that it was going to be all on Andor to remember the words that she like frantically told him in that apartment. But thankfully, no, she was okay. All right. Anything else before we get to that last cornfield scene?
I just, I guess really the time. I get it. We're running into Rogue One. Like literally, that last scene of Cassian is literally just before Rogue One, right?
He put on the
And Rogue
same
One
jacket. Yep.
put on the same jacket. He's gonna go take care of Tivik and what I forgot the name of the place.
Kafrene.
Kafrina.
The ring of
Kafrine.
Kafrene. Yep.
But Rogue One literally is like days up to hours before the start of A New Hope. But this arc said BBY1, as in
My
it's
brother
1 year
was
before the
texting me about
Battle of Yavin.
that. Yeah, that he was confused about that too. So I wonder if
I
like
forgot. Is there a time jump between Ring of Kafrine and then rescuing Jin from Stugin?
that could be it if they find out that. And when does the pilot? When did the pilot defect? How long did Saw hold the pilot? Like, my brother and I were talking about this, trying to figure out where the time jump is too. Like, and I was even wondering if there was any jump between the episodes, between any of the episodes here, episodes 10 and 12. Because you're right, like, and A New Hope, like, yeah, sure, Battle of Yavin, like A New Hope only takes course over like a couple days, right?
Yeah, I think so. A couple days. If
There's not any time jumps
at least
there.
a
Like
week. I don't know.
Luke is in the same outfit almost the whole time. He does not like get a shower and change clothes. Neither does Han. So yeah, I don't know.
I think maybe he needs to explain himself a little bit here, or maybe I got to go back and watch Rogue One now and figure out.
Or maybe like one BBY. Maybe there is no 0 BBY or something. Or like, I don't know.
Well, I don't know, because you have story, at least in book forms, it'll say like 0 BBY, or actually it'd be 0 ABY.
And
I don't know.
That's right after.
Yeah,
it could be one BBY. Could be just like, it doesn't have to be exactly a year before the battle. It could be like the year of. It could be like less than a year before Battle of Yavin. It could just be like you wouldn't notate that as 0. If let's say it was 1 month before the Battle of Yavin, you would still say that's one BBY, I guess, because it's within that first year.
That makes sense.
So like one 1 month after would be like, it might still be 1 ABY. You wouldn't put it as 0 ABY, or I don't know. I don't know how it works. Maybe that's on Wikipedia right now and we don't.
Probably.
Real quick, my throat's killing me, but real quick before we move to trivia, I don't remember if did you predict that Cassian, that Bix was pregnant, or was that a prediction online or something? Because I had heard that it's a possibility before I saw these episodes. I heard that like maybe she left because she knew that having his kid would take him out of the fight.
It was me. I was not expecting that twist at the end.
Oh, okay. I wasn't. I won't say I was expecting it, but I knew that there was chatter about it, that maybe that was a thing. Yeah. But it hit me pretty freaking hard.
Yeah.
That knowing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish.
Like knowing, like if I was seeing that shot, knowing that he had already died, that Cassian was already dead, and I was looking at like his baby and his surviving wife, girlfriend, whatever. If I had known that he was already dead, then it would have been, I don't know. less painful, like more solemn, and like she will tell him of a story. But the fact that he's like still alive and going to do rebellion stuff, and not only not seeing his kid, but not aware of his kid, just like cut me so deep.
Yeah.
I wasn't bawling, but I was just staring at the screen like, holy shit. This hurts. This hurts in an all new way.
I just wonder if anyone will tell Bix, like, I mean, I'm sure she'll already know because the Force healer said that he's on this, he's a messenger for this, and this is what she saw. But I'm wondering if anyone's officially confirmed it to Bix, like, yeah, he sacrificed himself for something very important. Probably can't go into full detail because it is a classified, run to the grab the Death Star plans. But I don't know.
Whoops. My lightsaber is telling me to wrap it up. Yeah, I am sure that, like, the same way that Luke and Han and Leia and Chewie became legends, I am sure that that Cassian and K2 and Jyn Erso, I'm sure that someone was telling their stories of their heroics afterwards. Like they eventually, people did know that like they were the ones that went down after the rebels had decided not to, that they were the ones who knew it was right and went in there. Yeah. So I am going to say that in just to make me feel better, I'm going to say yes, someone told Bix how much of a hero and someone told his kid how much of a hero that their dad was. All right. How about we move?
I got a couple more things, actually. One is I was actually tallying a few things. One is there's a few people who are originals that we haven't seen in Rogue One, but survived, and that is, and this is all that I've actually counted for. We have Vel, we have Bix, we have Dedra, we have Clea, and we have Wilman.
Oh, yeah.
All people from Andor who weren't in Rogue One, so we were all trying to figure out what happened to these people. These are the people still alive.
Yeah. Can you go through those again? Vel,
Bix, Dedra, Clea, and Will.
I think Vel is probably... I think most of these people probably are on Yavin doing rebellion things, probably have their own missions. Like Vel, obviously, she's training people, so she kind of stepped away from combat. Clea might just be done, like processing the death of her father, all of that. I'm not sure about Wilman. Who else did you say? Bix.
Dedra.
I mean, Bix.
Yeah, Bix.
Bix. I'm sure. I'm sure she's just trying to live the quiet life there now. Raising the baby. Dedra, I am okay with thinking that she serves her life in that prison.
At least until the end of the war, maybe.
Yeah, until I don't know, until maybe the Empire loses control of the prison. I don't know, because Imperial prisoners like would be let go, but if they know who she was, then I don't think they'd let her go.
Yeah. And lastly, what would you rate this? The whole arc. I mean, so it's 10 through 12.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. I don't think I need to explain myself here.
Perfect 10.
I'm not worthy to rate this. This is what this ranking is. I am sitting here knowing full well that after one viewing, like where each set of 3 was a week apart, that I have experienced a fraction of what is possible to experience with one viewing of this show.
Right.
So I loved it. I kind of predicted some things, but was woefully unprepared for most of it. And I am sure that when I go back, just like when I go back and rewatch the first one, how I pick up on new stuff, when I go back and watch this season 2 into Andor or into Rogue One, then I'm gonna love it even more. So yeah, straight 10s for me, dog.
Mine is a 9.
Interesting. That was lower than the other arc.
There's just it completed the story. I just felt like some of it, especially towards the end, felt a little rushed.
Okay.
Like I felt like they were given a small amount of time, and they're like, okay, but we have all these stuff to get to. They're like, well, wrap some of it up or leave some of it hanging. We never know. You might want to write another Star Wars show, or you might want to write a book. Who knows?
I would read a book. I would listen to an audiobook in the car. All right. So our average here was 9.5, I guess, then, right?
Yep.
Not bad.
2. I'm trying to tally up calculate the overall. Scores. Yeah. I might have to get back to you on this one before, so that way we can end the show. Yeah, I'll let everyone know next week our total score for Andor.
We'll put it on next week. And next week also is our dive into Tales of the Underworld, so I will give those a review.
I was going to say, I might have to watch those again, too.
I think I will. I watched them. I watched the 2 episodes in Fortnite, and then I finished that out. But then when I was watching the other part of it, there were toddlers crawling all over me for some of the Cad Bane stuff. So I need to lock in, focus. All right, let's move to our last segment, Star Wars trivia. And Marty has prepared a 1-question trivia challenge based on the 3 episodes that came out this week. So hit me.
All right, I don't think you're ready for this. This is very, very left field.
Good. Bring it.
Bring it on. No one would have thought about asking this question unless, of course, you see what I'm talking about, or if you're making a video for a podcast and you're those Easter eggs like Star Wars Explained, or you read StarWars.com for this because they helped confirm what I was thinking. But if it'll load, there we go. What is the name of the hospital Luthen is being held at?
Oh my god, dude, I know it because my brother and I were talking about this too. Because he's read High Republic novels or comics. Sorry.
Is it A, Emperor Palpatine Medical Center, B, it's supposed to say Kix. I don't know why I said it's supposed to D, but it's supposed to say Kix Memorial Hospital, not Kid. C, Imperial General. C, Imperial General Hospital, or D, Lena So Medical Center.
In case anybody is playing along, put your answer in the comments before I tell you the answer. I'll give you. I know that the answer is D, Lena So Medical Center, because I saw the Arabesh on the building, and because my wife and I were looking, and like we knew it was going to be a hospital, and we rewound it because we saw Arabesh, and I was like, I bet you that says hospital, and we went back and I was reading, I was like, Lina. It was and so I was like, oh, that's weird. That's a name I don't know. And then my brother and I were texting about this whole show. But he was like, this is an Easter egg, like, and showed me like she's in High Republic. She makes an appearance in the kids show, the Young Jedi Adventures. And so apparently she did a whole lot when she was the chancellor, or whoever, whatever her role was, and so a lot of things are named after her.
Yeah, she was a very popular, very important chancellor during the High Republic, that's for sure, especially with the Nihil attacking. She even lost a leg in one of their attacks at a fair. Like it's supposed to be like this big celebration with all the Republic members on this planet celebrating. All of a sudden, the Nihil attack, and she lost a leg in it.
The Nihil sound terrifying, by the way. Just a little side note. I need to learn more about that stuff. Darth Nihil was their guy, right?
No, it was some guy. It was a Everonian named Markion Rowe. He's kind of got somewhat feline-ish features, like his claws, or he's gray-skinned. He's got black claws, canines. He's kind of a scary dude.
All right.
They use basically fear toxins. So it seems like they've read some Batman comics. Or toxins that'll kill at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys are just evil pirates, basically.
All right. So pretty proud of myself getting that trivia question right. I'm happy with that. But we are right at about an hour. Well done. That's shorter than we have been recently talking about this show. We could probably talk for several more hours. I'll save that for whenever we get beers at a Star Wars bar or something. But for now, that's our show. We hope you enjoy what we're doing here. We know that Star Wars fandom and comment sections can sometimes get dark, toxic, frustrating, all kinds of stuff, but it does not have to be that way. We are here to bring positivity and fun to the Star Wars side of the internet. Remember, there are more of us. So again, if you have anything for us, questions, requests, suggestions for segments, anything at all, throw them in the comments and we will see what we can do. Again, don't forget to follow us at SW Culture Live everywhere and follow us our personal accounts. I am at Nerdiest Stepdad right there. And he is at Marty 21794. And so we will see you. Yeah, right. It's harder than it looks. We will see you next week, and may the Force be with you.